For years, adult fans of LEGO wanted sets that appeal specifically to them. And in 2020, LEGO delivers with a new 18 plus line, one of which is 71374 Nintendo Entertainment System. Here is the RebelLUG review. Hey everyone, Nick Brick here, bringing to RebelLUG a review of LEGO set 71374 Nintendo Entertainment System. This set launched on August 1st, 2020, retails for $229 in the United States, is rated for ages 18 plus, and contains 2,646 pieces. Now, initial impressions, just looking at the box as it came in, it's large, it weighs about 9.5 pounds, and it's a super clean design. Definitely more appealing to an adult fan as opposed to a LEGO kit more marketed towards kids where it have like an action scene, maybe showing some of the functions. This one just shows exactly what you're gonna get inside the box and just leaves it at that. On the front, it also gives you the set number, the age, and the part count. Flipping over to the back of the box, we can see a highlight of a few of the functions in the set, which include a crank that will move the Super Mario Bros. Scene and make Mario jump and move around the level inside. And also calls out that you can open up the Nintendo Entertainment System front cover and insert the game pack. And finally, one more feature that it calls out is that the controller itself is in 1:1 scale. Now, it doesn't point out that any other part of this is in 1:1 scale, which is very interesting to me for a first impression of this set, thinking that I would have been getting a 1:1 scale replica of everything that's contained within there, and it only calls out the controller specifically. But we'll see how it goes once we get this built. Now we took a look at the box itself. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. So inside the box, we have, well, another box and several different bags. I don't know how many exactly of different parts, and it looks like most of it's for the TV itself, as well as one loose part that I have found here. It's black pneumatic hose, which is likely for the cable for the Nintendo controller. I'm going to go ahead and clear this all out, and let's see what's inside this box right here. All right, this mostly unmarked box except for a 7-digit number on the front and all sides. Let's see what's inside. And inside this mysterious white box, we have more bags of parts. And buried underneath these bags of parts, we have loose, flexible hose, 3mm, grabbable by LEGO clips or minifigures. And a sealed pack that contains 2 instruction booklets, as well as a sticker sheet that looks like it's for the television as well as the game pack. There are no other stickers that are contained within this, so my guess is that the rest of the parts that would have a design on them are printed. Let's go ahead and open up the instruction booklet bag. There's the sticker sheet. And our 2 instruction booklets, one for the console, the controller, and the game pack, and the other for the television. Now that we have the instruction booklet unbagged, let's go ahead and build this set with a time-lapse video, starting with the console itself, and we'll move on to the TV after that. And here it is, the completed set. The build time for me was approximately 3.5 hours, where 1.5 was spent building the parts that were in part 1 of the booklet, which was the console, the controller, and the game pack. And 2 hours were spent building what was in the second booklet, which was entirely the TV set and its stand. Now that I have built it, I can confirm that there are 20 numbered bags in the entire set. Bags 1 through 8 build what's in book 1, and bags 9 through 20 build what's in book 2. Initial impressions, I'm really impressed. I'm absolutely blown away by what I have built. The entire experience was really fun to build. It wasn't that confusing. I have to give a shout out to the designers that it was really easy to follow the directions in this set. Sure, it might be problematic if you were to take this set and go use all the parts that you have all these rainbow parts inside, but it's color-coded so well on the inside to make building super easy, lining up everything, counting studs, that sort of thing. It's really easy to figure out how to build it because just the internals are color-coded incredibly well. And I'm sure there was so many days and weeks of designing the set to be able to make it just so easy to construct. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This might be my favorite set that LEGO has ever put out. There are just so many impressive details to unpack in this build, this first attempt at something that's close to the life size. But there are some nitpicks. I'm going to get into that right away. One of them is that only one part of this actually is life size, and my suspicion was confirmed when I looked at the box, and that is the controller. Only the controller is in true 1-to-1 scale. And when you pick it up and you are familiar with a Nintendo Entertainment System, it just feels instantly familiar. And with the size of the TV and the console itself, it's pretty close, but in actuality, the console itself and, of course, the game pack as a result is slightly smaller than life-size scale. I do think this is a fair compromise, though, because if it was true life-size scale, you'd use nearly double the parts to make it happen, just to add that much more volume to the build. And I think in general, this is at a very fair price point for the number of parts that you get and what you get as a result. That I think that if the console was at true life-size scale, we'd probably be missing out on some of the value that this set brings. And I honestly think it's a fair compromise, despite a slight disappointment that it's not actually truly life-size scale. My opinions differ from most builders in that I actually prefer stickers to prints, but the main reason for that is so I can decide whether I want the stickers to be applied or not. You don't really have that option with prints. However, I do think it's worth noting in the set review just information about prints versus stickers. So yeah, every single decorated piece that you see in this set that is not on the game pack or the back of the TV is printed. Now, I believe the reason why certain parts were stickered instead is because it's going on black pieces and you need white prints. White prints typically don't show up very well on black pieces, at least with the way that LEGO in-house does their printing. So it does make a lot of sense that they decided to go with a sticker for those parts so that the whites appear vibrant as well as the rest of the colors on those parts. There are still some black pieces in this that are printed, but it's with a silver print or something similar. None of them are printed with white. But yeah, because there's so many printed parts in this, yes, you do get a lot of printed one-by-one tiles of various shapes with the different power-ups, enemies, blocks, all that kind of stuff that you find in the original Super Mario Bros. And you do get one extra of each one of those prints. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the functional parts as well as some of the hidden secrets of these builds. There's some pretty cool ones. So we'll start with the console, and with the console we'll also discuss the controller and the game pack. So one of the functional parts that you can do on the console is you can open up the front cover and insert the game pack. Now what's really cool about that part of it is you can You can press down on the game pack and it will lock into place and fit inside of the console as if it is ready to play. To eject the game pack, reverse the process. Just press down on the game pack, it will pop back up and you can pull the game pack out. And it's a really, really simple mechanism inside of there. It just uses some slots and a shock absorber piece to be able to make it have spring action and have two different positions. Another fun secret within the console itself is on one of the more boring looking parts of the actual console, but they decided to make it a little bit more interesting with this hidden secret. This side panel, if you pop off this panel, you can see the end of World 1-2, where there's a warp pipe to exit and go to the flagpole and the castle. But also, if you take the secret exit, you can go above that warp pipe and go into the secret warp zone. And I just absolutely love that they decided to put that in there. It's just like a little extra Easter egg. Another functional part of the console itself is that you can plug the controller in. The plug itself is really loose. Like, it's snug enough that if you still have some slack in the cable, that it's not going to be that big of a deal. But if you actually extend the cable out far enough, it will pop out really easily. The plug itself is a really simple design. You can take that plug design and create different peripherals for the original Nintendo Entertainment System, like, say, the Nintendo Zapper. I'm really impressed also by not only did they have most every port that's on the sides of the console, but they also look the part down to every small detail. So on the one side with the AV port and the back side with the RF switch, they used 1x1 round plates with the hole inside so that the corresponding cables could theoretically plug into those ports. The AC power port has a suspended Lego bar inside of the hole just to simulate exactly the look of the actual AC power port on the NES console. Those small details, I'm just thinking, like, if I were to make a one-to-one replica of the NES console, these were the kinds of things that I would put into a mock of the NES, and this is something we're getting in a set. And I'm just impressed with that level of attention to detail. Even if it isn't true life size, the detail is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And just so much fun to build. I don't have a whole lot to say on the controller except that it's almost exactly life size and has nearly every detail. Like, the only nitpick I guess I have about it is that the lower two corners are cut off a bit just because of the size of the tiles not being able to extend all the way to the bottom controller or across the bottom if you want to fix it that way. But yeah, holding this controller just feels instantly familiar. Now on the game pack, there is a detail I really want to point out that was really impressive. If you flip over to the bottom of the game pack, where you're not supposed to blow on it, but we do anyway, there is the chip inside, and they use a green plate to simulate that. That's just way too clever. It's just like inset a little bit. You can see the green plate. It looks like the real thing. Of course, not actually life size, but that's the limitation of the console size, that they just had to make a game pack that's appropriately scaled. And I guess that's the thing about this game pack and the console, is that even though it's not true life size, it is true proportioned. Everything nearly lines up with the original, and it just looks the part. And unless you had the console there, you would be convinced that this is life size, and that's just impressive design work right there to get it proportioned correctly. That's the real hard part. Moving on from visually the most impressive part of the entire set is mechanically the most impressive part of the entire set. That is the television. The television really grew on me. Originally I thought I could just maybe take a set that just has a console, two controllers, and then, yep, that's it. That'll do. But that TV design is super cool. And I have no doubt that there's going to be more people that are going to be making their own modifications to the TV set making different screens for, say, Metroid or Contra or the other Super Mario games, Duck Hunt. But anyway, the level you get is basically designed around World 1-1, but not an exact replica because the screen has to loop around and come for full circle and be able to do exactly the same loop every time. As you crank on the side crank, and there is a really cool detail on this one, there is a catch on one of the gears that prevents you from scrolling backwards. So it's just like a true Super Mario level. I was just amused by that detail. I imagine that someone thought about that, like, let's make it so you can't scroll backwards, just like the original. And they went ahead and did that. That's hilarious to me, but it works. As long as you press all your plates and tiles down on the back screen, it will run smoothly. But there were a couple panels of that I did not press down all the way when I first built this, and it would get caught in the mechanism, mostly in the back area. Fortunately, one of the things that they designed into this TV set is you can take off the back panel, and you're able to go ahead and fix anything that gets caught in the back there. You can also fix the latch that prevents the mechanism from working backwards. Or remove it entirely if you want to make it like new Super Mario Bros. Other cool functional bits, got the antenna. It can clip into the back, or you can extend it all the way back up, or adjust it so you can get that signal. But another functional detail on the TV set itself that I absolutely love is the channel knob on the top. They could have just like made that knob be able to rotate just as it is, make it like a Technic pin connection. But no, they made it connect to a gear, and the gear is above a rubber piece, so that when you turn it, it actually makes like a classic like cranking sound, and it has set positions. In addition to that, there's a Technic lift arm that prevents you from turning all the way one way or the other. So it actually only has 3/4 of a full circle to turn. That kind of detail, like, they didn't have to do it. They did it anyway. And I'm going to keep saying my mind's blown by this set. So this set is compatible with the Lego Mario that you get in the starter course set, which runs about $60. If you remove the top panel on the TV and place Mario above a stickered piece that tells Mario that it's working with 71374 Nintendo Entertainment System, it will start playing classic Super Mario music. And as you scroll the level, it will react to different parts of the level. Like, say you walk over the Koopa shell, it'll make the Koopa shell kick sound. It's a really neat add-on that I don't necessarily think is worth the $60 just to make it happen, but if you can get your starter course cheaper, it is a cool add-on. And I will admit, I was overwhelmed with nostalgia when I first put Mario on top of the TV and did that function. It's cool and something you should experience yourself, but just think about the price tag that goes with getting the Mario from the starter course to make it happen. Overall, I said it over and over again, but I'm blown away. This is my favorite Lego set. So an overall rating, I would give this set a 9 out of 10. Docking it only for the scale of the Nintendo Entertainment System, although not by much, because I still think it's worth the monetary value. As well as, to be honest, making the screen with all those 1x1 tiles and plates, it's tedious to make it line up. But other than that, it's nearly a perfect set, and at $230 for 2,600 pieces, as long as you are okay with gray, black, and brown as the primary colors that are in this set, as long as you want those kinds of pieces, it is worthwhile for the parts as well. There are several rainbow parts inside that help guide the build process that wouldn't necessarily be as useful as the gray or the other neutral colored parts. But for how many parts you get in this set, how many are printed with exclusive prints, as well as the new pieces like 2x6 tiles and the Super Mario pixelated character. I cannot recommend this set enough, even at full price. If you get a discount at it, you're getting a really, really good deal. So overall, 9 out of 10. This has been the RebelLUG review of 71374 Nintendo Entertainment System. I'm Nick Brick. Thanks for watching.